So I think there almost definitely was a gap between the housing and here, and I've caked that on both sides with the black silicone. The black is I mean, read your packets, but the black is normally fuel and oil resistant, so I just use it as general purpose really. I'm going to let that dry fully, and then the filter goes back in. The filter's clean enough and it's not wet. Sometimes you pull these out and they're wet, and then you've got an issue. I might try and order another one anyway. It just slots in the shape of that, and then the back there, it should really have something that kind of holds it a bit more. It does hold in, I've checked it, but I think it's snapped on here. I'd like to check online. I think a piece is snapped off and it would have come out more, and it kind of just holds this there in there. If that's the case, I can look into a new one, and if the new one came with its arm, that would be ideal, wouldn't it? But for now, this is fine, absolutely fine. That's it. I'm going to push this bike away because I'm going to let that dry all week if I have to, and then I'm going to consider what I do with the wrap. All of these lines I'll pull out. I'll literally just pull them off. You know, I'll cut them there and I'll pull them all off, and I'll do whatever I need to do to kind of neaten it all up, all of these lines, because we're not using that box currently, so it doesn't really matter. I'll leave the box on so that if anyone in the future wants to put it back, they will, but I doubt they'll ever do that. There'd be no point. I think the real problem ultimately was that a big old hole going in to the airbox. I mean, the hole on this airbox is tiny, I can't even see it, but it will be very small. So adding that much volume to a fuel injected small engine bike is ridiculous. That's why it wasn't idling. That alone probably was the issue. My guess is that the system would have come back and plugged into there originally, and then someone messed with it. Cool. This is going back in the corner. It's not finished yet, but it's not far off. I'm telling you, it rides really well. It really pulls strong. It's a really fun bike. The brakes are great, so I'm not worried about any of that. I did notice there's not actually a bulb in the front, so there's not actually a bulb in there, so I will chuck a bulb in, of course. That would be nuts not to. I'm happy. This was a non-running, riding, idling bike originally, and now it's selecting gear beautifully. It rides well. It's strong. It pulls strong. It's gonna actually be a nice cheap bike for someone. I just don't have the confidence that it's gonna be a very long-lasting bike. The parts aren't out there. They are, but they're not as, there's not as many as I'd like. It's not a Lexmoto. And when you go on the Hanway forum, they're just plagued with issues. Electrical, this issue is a very common one. It don't idle. So in my head, I don't like the bike. I love the look of the bike. If it was a different brand, I'd be fine, I'm sure. But yeah, cool. I just want to check and see if the throttle cable is here for this, and if it is, I want to just get in here a little bit, clean all this up, because I think this bike is quite close to being finished. I just wanted to do that for my peace of mind. I just needed to know. So I've loosened up all the throttling stuff on here and put some bike oil down the line. In the past, I've used WD-40 until people on my site said you shouldn't, because it can destroy the linings maybe. So normal oil, and I normally just create some sort of little tube at the top with a tape or something, tip the oil in, let it seep through slowly, but it feels much better already, look. That's it, we've solved our idle issue. Let me get the key. I don't know if I've driven this bike. was silly. Am I now? Funny enough, it's cable adjustment letting it down now, but that's easy. Let me resolve that. I need to get a 10. Right, I just took some slack, put some slack in the cable. We're on the stopper now. It should be fairly normal. I really like on this channel, I mean, I'm bigging myself up here a bit, but I like to show you guys when I've made simple mistakes. I really wouldn't want to just go ping, it's perfect, here you go. I took the lines off, I put oil down them, I put them back on, and I set them too tight. It's really important we know that this stuff happens, basically. So engine itself is great, lovely, very smooth. Gear change just needs all greasing up. I can tell, just needs all greasing up. And one of the brakes is dragging front, back, I don't know. It's got that ridiculous double brake system which I can't stand, but it's got it. So what can we do? It's working, but one of the brakes is binding. Definitely the front brake's binding, but I've got plenty of brake cleaner, so this isn't far off really. It needs some brake work and some greasing up, and it's a tiny bit smoky, but it's still got a bit of stale fuel in there, and it's a fuel injected model, so I really think a good fresh clean fuel and a good run. I don't think it's valve stems or anything because it's from start up. I really think it just needs a good run. So yeah, that's not far off, but for me that's it. I'm tired. Where do we stand now? Right, this needs greasing up, cleaning, front brake work, and that's it. I wouldn't touch it. I'd leave it alone. I think the battery for this is in the Hanway at the moment, so I'm going to switch them over. The scrambler starts, runs and idles now. It should be okay once I let that sealant set. It should be running much better. And the Herald needs, I've ordered a new CG carb for it because why not? I just want it to be at its best, and for the extra 25 quid or whatever it was, it'd be nuts not to. I've actually taken down the adverts until they're here and fully done. And there's my little beauty there. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Drop a message. Make sure you press a like, please. I got 700 regular viewers. 700 every one. 700. That's kind of as a minimum. And less than 100 likes. So there's 700 people watching all the time. And 100 likes. If there were 700 likes, then YouTube will boost the algorithm and more people will get to see the channel, and that's how it grows, right? And it's not even about money for me. It's just about engagement, enjoyment, and yeah, I really love the show. I really love the bikes. Why not?